In this video, we'll look at a few ways to improve your revision of Writing Exam 2. Let's start by looking at hooks. The specific one, some of you used a trend as a hook, and when you use a trend for your hook, it is common to use the present perfect tense. And why is that? It's because a current trend, if it's a current trend, it means that the trend will likely continue into the future. An example, in the 21st century, transportation development has made it easy for people worldwide, and people have enjoyed traveling for the rich experience of their life. So you can see has made and have enjoyed. So both of those things will likely continue into the future. So you're using present perfect here, which is has or have, and the past participle. A second example, these days it has become difficult for people to find nature where they live. Again, you've got, it's likely that that will continue. They'll continue to find it difficult. Therefore, we use the present perfect. Okay, so let's talk about the importance of using the text. So in academic writing is really about finding information and studying it. You're gathering information and you're learning it. There's a conversation going on out there about whatever the topic is, whether it's geotourism or the environment or whatever it might be. And so you're going to learn about it first by reading about it and watching videos. So you want to find out what's going on first before you have something to say about it. So the second bullet point here says, we always read and learn what others say first before we give our thoughts in our writing. Third, most or all of your formal academic writing will require you to use the text to support your ideas in your writing. For this revision, make sure you use the text in both of your body paragraphs. For each body paragraph, describe one example in detail given in the geotourism reading that helps the reader to see how the benefit you described is a benefit. If you say something is a benefit, you need to prove it. A good way to do this is through giving examples. Okay, using examples. So examples are a great way to help the reader see exactly what you are talking about. If you say a benefit of geotourism is that it helps the local economy, give an example from the text to show what you mean. There are 3 examples given in the text that you can choose from. Be very specific when you are showing that your benefit is true in real life. So in some of your, in a number of, actually several of your first drafts, a number of you wrote about the Grand Canyon, and in your essay as an example of a place that uses geotourism. And there are 2 problems with this. First, the Grand Canyon is overused in student writing. And actually, it's not really quite that interesting if everyone uses the same example. If you found the Grand Canyon easily online with information about geotourism, then assume it's been used a lot and copied by students before. So think boring. The reader doesn't want to read about the Grand Canyon 50 times. Be a little more creative than that. In number 2, in 19A and 19B, do not use outside sources for your writing assignments. Use your ideas and the ideas in the textbook. Later in English 1 and beyond, you can use outside sources. So one solution to the problem, the Grand Canyon problem, using that as an example, is this. If you want to include an example in addition to using, say, 1 or 2 detailed examples from the textbook, why not include an example of a tourist place that you know about from your own country? You're an expert of your own experience, so you can include that information, based on your knowledge. You don't want to go back out onto the internet and search information about your example either. You want to just give information from your experience about what you know if you're going to use your own experience as support in your paragraph, in your essay. And then let's see, we're going to talk about citing your source. When you include information from outside sources like pathways, you want to cite your source, which means that you tell the reader where you got your information from. in your revision, if you gave a definition of geotourism that came from the textbook, put pathways at the end of the sentence. That way you're telling the reader that the definition came from this book, because not that many people know the term geotourism. And so the definition, or your version or your words describing what geotourism is, probably came from pathways. So you want to tell the reader where you got that from. After the first sentence of your example, type the words pathways at the end of your sentence, again, because you want the reader to know your example came from pathways. So you can see at the bottom, there's geotourism is blah, blah, blah. It's probably a definition, pathways in parentheses, period. And then there's the example of giving an example, and then you explain it. In your first sentence, you start explaining it, say you got it from pathways. After your first sentence of the example, you can continue to give information that you got from the book describing that example. You don't have to write pathways after every single sentence, but the first sentence of your example, at the end, you want to say you got that from pathways. So here you can see a sample partial essay. This is the essay about some negative aspects of mass tourism, and it's an essay that has a link on the revision assignment, so you'll see it for writing exam 2 revision. And it's the essay you guys have already studied. At the top is the introduction, and you'll notice this is actually not from Pathways, but I did want to show you if this information did come from Pathways. I'm going to put parentheses Pathways at the end of the sentence and end it with a period. This is a statistic, 70 million airplane flights. So that's something you definitely want to say where you got it from, what source did it come from. For more specifics on introductions, I also repeated a link on building cohesion, and this is on the assignment for revising this, your essay. And if you look on this page, building cohesion, this same introduction is here, and you guys already read this, but it's here to remind you of one way you can connect your sentences is using various words and phrases in sentences that are next to each other. And of course, you can use cause and effect transitions to connect your sentences, or any other kind of transition like however, in addition, in fact, nevertheless, there's other words and phrases too. And then I also linked on your assignment page for this revision the sample, the whole essay. Okay, I guess I said that already, but I want to take you to the first body paragraph and look at it one more time, because I know you've studied it. And the blue section here gives an explanation of the problem of damage to historical sites. So this was a negative impact for this focal point right here, damage to historical sites. This whole second section here is a specific example. It's about Egypt and the pyramids of Giza, and it describes an example of how people have damaged historical sites. So remember, in your essay, you're talking about the benefits of geotourism. So you're describing the benefit first, and then give a very detailed example. You might do one example and then another one, both from the textbook, or maybe you'll do one whole example and give lots of details from the textbook. And you'll notice the first sentence of the example, I included the word pathways. Now, you're not going to have yours written in red or bolded, but I just wanted to highlight it here. And then the reader knows that the rest of this information here also comes from pathways. But this is all in your own writing, so you're not copying the exact words. You don't want to plagiarize, which is copying other people's words. You're just showing you understood what you read, and you're using your own way of saying it. Yes, so this is body paragraph 1. You're going to be revising your body paragraph 1. If you didn't include a specific example, you want to go ahead and do that. Grab an example from the book. As you know, there's 3 different examples they give in there and lots of details, like the Three Sisters Trekking Company, the Harani Lodge, and the Ayers Rock is the other one. So in the essay writing assignment that you're going to be doing, your revision assignment, you're going to basically, for your essay, you're going to revise your introduction using my feedback. You're going to revise your first body paragraph. Make sure you have a good detailed example from the textbook, and then you tell me where you got it from, pathways, and then you are going to add a second body paragraph. I don't think I have, yeah. You're going to add a second body paragraph, so another one, but this second body paragraph will have a different focal point and a different explanation and a different example. And then you're going to end with a conclusion. So remember, there is a link. There was an exercise or a reading you had to do on conclusions. So you can always go back to that. And I have linked that also on the assignment page so you can review conclusions before you write yours.